What up, Bulls Nation? We've got a live CHGO Bulls podcast coming up for y'all right around the corner. On today's show, two crazy finishes to game ones in the Western and Eastern Conference semis last night. Plus, we'll round out our grades for Bulls in the 24-25 season. We're talking Ayo, Lonzo, and Jalen Smith, all coming up next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Day. Bam! Bam! BAWL Sports. The perfectly coiffed Will the Go Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb.
Like four more days of tank spins.
4 more days. We got one yesterday.
We did.
They didn't win it. But let's see if we can get another one today. Hit that like button.
I want a tank spin every day this week.
That's right.
I'll accept nothing less.
The queen of the controls, one and only Katie Duffy. What up, Katie?
Hit the like.
There you go. I was just about to say, she will remind you throughout today's show to hit that like button. There's the first one.
Yes.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great.
Good Tuesday. Gorgeous day in Chicago.
Gorgeous day.
The Gams are out.
Oh.
The Burks are out.
Shining.
Goat.
The baby is working overtime. I'll say this. I'm a little disappointed we didn't do an episode where we discussed Dalen, Jalen, and Talon. But
missed opportunity.
It was right there.
It was right there for the taking.
There. Okay. It's all right.
Missed.
I'm sorry.
I feel like they need to target players whose first names rhyme exclusively in free agency this summer.
Yes. Who we picking first?
Knowing that they're going to be such big participants in NBA free agency this summer.
Oh, huge.
Massive.
Colossal.
Massive.
Oh.
Before we dive into our grades for a couple members of that Bulls backcourt and Ayo and Lonzo, and then Jalen Smith, the big free agent signing of last summer, let's touch base on what we saw in the NBA playoffs last night, gentlemen. These NBA playoffs, round one were exciting. We got a couple of game sevens out of it.
Yeah.
Round two's kicking off epic proportions.
Yeah.
We saw two more road teams win game one after the Pacers took game one from Cleveland over the weekend. The Knicks upset the Celtics, overcoming a 20-point deficit, and then the Nuggets overcome a 10-point deficit in the final 4.5 minutes. Aaron Gordon, the hero, again. My God. Hook these NBA playoffs straight to my veins.
Give them more.
Big Dave,
Yo.
Crazier upset yesterday, Knicks or Nugs?
Ooh, great question. I'm going to say the Knicks was the crazier one. We saw two ways on how really good teams can both lose. And one was a team who was just inexperienced. And you saw just Denver would not stop at all.
Never give
up.
You
saw Joker doing Wilt Chamberlain stuff out there offensively, with 42 and 22.
42 and 22.
6. Like, that's insanity. Like, he was amazing in that fourth quarter. And he has no moves. Like, he just puts you in the bucket. That's it. He puts you down there and he shoots. The 3-pointers he was hitting over them were absolutely crazy and insane. But they just weren't ready. That's how I looked at it with OKC. It was their first time kind of being in that kind of situation. And even though they're at home, the lights get hot. You know what I'm saying? You're more aware of certain things. And they had a chance and missed a free throw. And Denver made them pay. Like, that's what happened. The other way to lose the game is, even though you're experiencing the champions, I felt they were a little arrogant. I felt they were, and watching the Knicks, this is what Tom Thibodeau teams do. They always are in the game. I don't care if it's a 20-point lead. Unless it's in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left, they're in the game. And they would not stop. They continued to keep going. Again, you got the clutch player of the year out there in Jalen Brunson, who was colossal for them. OG Anunoby was huge for them. And even though Karl Anthony Towns had 4 fouls, he still played in the factor in that fourth quarter, kind of helping them out defensively. But the 3-point shots that Boston would not stop taking were out of control. They refused to go to the bucket. And the last play is what set it off for me. The last play in overtime, when they get the ball in to Brown and Mikal Bridges says, "Man, give me your lunch.
My ball.
Snatch.
My ball.
Belongs to me, son." You know what I'm saying? And go give my milk too while you at it. Like, it was disrespectful. So And I enjoyed it, yes, but you're right. I enjoy watching the playoffs, man, but both teams who you thought would win, they were saying, hey, this could be a sweep. I never thought any game would be a sweep, any series would be a sweep, but, man, shocking.
So, I mean, Dave just mentioning the fact that Boston was not aggressive in that second half while they were choking up that lead goat. 45 missed threes the Celtics had. An NBA playoff game record. 45 missed threes. And in particular, Jason Tatum, man.
Yeah.
Like, you are, it was Jaylen Brown who won Finals MVP for them last year, right? Mm-hmm. But still, Jason Tatum, perennial All-NBA caliber talent, the face of that franchise, was just stepping back and taking a bunch of threes in that second half. Like, what do you make of that? And it seems like a simple enough adjustment. Like, if you're the Celtics, like, hey, Tatum, take the ball to the hole, man.
Well, they also had lost Porzingis for a lot of this game. He only played 13 minutes with illness. I would say that, like, I'm more worried about the Thunder than I am the Celtics after going down
I agree with
0-1, just because, as you mentioned, the threes, I can't remember exactly what it was at halftime, but it was really the second half where they started missing all these threes. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Knicks shot 17 of 37. So you outscore them in a game where it's a 3-point game, and like the Celtics are typically crushing teams in terms of the 3-point battle. So I'm a little less concerned about them. They need to like stop playing with their food and like get the job done. But I believe that they can. I also think like this is maybe a unfair comparison to make, but like we've seen a Tom Thibodeau team go 0-4 against a team in the regular season and then come out and beat them in the first game and then not be able to hang the rest of the series.
Absolutely.
I think the Celtics are the much better team.
Without a doubt.
I think that the Knicks are a team that is kind of primed to hit a wall at a certain point just because of the minutes and the load that Brunson has. And the Celtics should be able to withstand that and win the series in 5 or 6 games. Like, I'm not too worried about them. The Thunder was a little bit more concerning because you can't look at the 3-point like disparity and say the Thunder got the short end of the stick. They hit 5 more threes and shot a better percentage on threes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has had a tough postseason so far. Not bad, but he just hasn't been himself. He scored 33, 10 rebounds, 8 assists last night. That's what you want out of him. But the Nuggets are just so talented. You have Jokic, who, I mean, is proving to be the best player, whether he wins MVP or not. So far in the series, from 42, 22, and 6 is a little bit better than 32, 10, and 8. I just think that they are going to present more of a problem. Like, I could see this series going longer. I still think OKC should win it. They had a long break. They didn't know who they were going to play until this weekend when the Nuggets won in Game 7. But, yeah, I mean, and then you factor in the Cavs losing their Game 1 against the Pacers. All the higher seeds so far have lost in Game 1. So very interesting second round start. But, yeah, I would say I'm much more worried about OKC. Yeah. And I still think they should win, but I'm just not at all concerned for the Celtics.
And, much like we saw that old and theoretically tired Warriors team overcome the 2-seed Rockets, like, experience matters.
Matters, man.
I mean, like, and some might say, the Bulls should have gone and played Cleveland in the first round. I'm not talking about that kind of experience. I'm talking about years and years of playoff run kind of experience.
Yeah.
Deep postseason runs.
The Nuggets in that game, it was just one and the latest example of how many times over the last 3 seasons worth of Nuggets playoff runs have I watched a game where, like, the Nuggets have no business winning this game.
None.
They stole 2 against the Clippers in the first round.
Yeah, man.
They just refused to go away. And then a couple of late hiccups from, like, a game management standpoint, if you're OKC and Mark Dagnall, like, the committing fouls intentionally and sending them to the line. When you're up 3, protecting a 3-point lead, logical.
Yeah.
But it also allowed Joker to check back into the game when he had left the court and the Nuggets were out of timeouts.
It did.
So people were, crushing OKC for that. But again, it's just like you also have to credit the Nuggets, who are they continue to prove to be a team in a playoff game. When you think they're out, again, they were down 11 with 4.5 to go.
Yeah.
And it was just like, we'll get this bucket. Then we'll get a stop. Then we'll get this bucket. Okay, we just gave up a bucket. Okay, we'll hit a 3. Yep. And Eric Gordon, man, I swear that guy is one of the most clutch players of this generation. I have been on the Aaron Gordon train.
I remember when you got
from
on
the
it.
early days. This dude just makes big game winning plays. Credit to Westbrook also.
Yeah,
in
man.
that transition opportunity with a short clock, down 1, game on the line, to not go Westbrook and put up some dumbass shot, but actually find the open man, Gordon, who was running with him down the other side.
Yeah.
But are you guys ready for my favorite stat that came out of that Nuggets win last night?
Peck favorite stat.
Yeah, 42, 22, and 6. Just the most recent hilarious Joker stat.
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Jokic, this is courtesy of Jake Coyne on Twitter, a.k.a. the Stat Squatch.
Shout out, sir.
Great handle. Nikola Jokic has now scored 20 or more points in 24 consecutive road playoff games. 24 straight road playoff games, he's put up 20+. It's the longest such streak by an NBA player since
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan did it 37 straight times from 1990 to 1995. Goat. And a third time, a goat.
Why do we keep questioning these things?
All these different stats in this 3-year run of Nuggets playoff series where it's like, not since Wilt, ... and it's something Joker has done. And last night is like, wow, Joker just put up 24th straight road playoff game. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, it's Jordan.
37. How about 37 straight?
I want to know it for 30-point games now. That's what I want to know. How many times do it for 30-point games? He's the greatest ever. But Joker is just phenomenal, all right? That game last night just lends more credence to just how phenomenal he is and lend more credence to their arguments they were making for MVP for Nikola Jokic, man. Like, he's doing it against the guy that I think is the MVP and that most people have is that. And he just went in there and dominated a team that is just incredible defensively because you still ain't big enough to go ahead and compete with that dude. Holmgren, most snacks. And then you got Hartenstein, who I finally saw miss that left-handed push shot for the very first time in a couple years. I've not seen him miss that shot. I saw him miss it yesterday in the fourth quarter. That was huge. But Nikola Jokic, man, you can't do anything but respect the greatness when you're sitting out there watching it because he won that game. He put them back in there. Did you not see him cursing his team out and then coaching them at the same time on the sideline? Yeah. Like, this dude is into this, man. And even a guy his size, it just never seems like he gets tired. Why? Because he plays at his own pace. Now, again, he might take a little break on his rear too, but he plays at his own pace, man. And you can take those breaks if you're giving me 42, 22, and 6. He is special.
He was spotted at some Oklahoma City bar last night after the win, just hanging out. Say, hey, you got the dub. You got 42, 22, and 6. Right. Go enjoy a little hang at the bar after that one.
Ale, sir. Do your thing.
But Dave, talk about Joker MVP performance, SGA MVP frontrunner, likely winner.
He had a good game too.
He did, but I think that's the other thing where you have to credit Denver is they really honed in on SGA down the stretch, forced him into some difficult shots in the fourth quarter.
They did.
And I like. Obviously, everybody will point to Chet missing those 2 free throws late. That's, you don't want that.
That's me pointing to it.
But, like, that was Joker on the inbound pass, not letting them get that inbound ball to SGA. And, I think Chet was the third option on that inbounds play as far as the recipient of the inbounds pass. But even still, before those crucial free throws missed by Chet, like, the Thunder were throwing all kinds of different defensive looks, blitzes, traps, shade defensive help and coverages on Shea, and they basically were daring anyone other than SGA to beat them, and they didn't.
We're seeing a lot more creative defensive scheming in this playoffs, whether it's like non-traditional zones, the way that we talked about, like the zone that the Rockets were running against Steph Curry, but all these teams are just like trying to keep teams out of the paint and being willing to live with maybe some more contested threes on kickout passes. And I think that's like the recipe to winning. Like, if you are playing guys straight up, like, Shea's going to kill you. But if you're saying, Shea, you're maybe going to score 40 against us, but like, we're going to try to take away everybody else, that might be the recipe. And like, you look at what the Thunder, we've talked about like their weakness all year being like, do they have that secondary guy? I mean, Jalen Williams, only 16 points on 5 of 20 shooting. He was only 2 of 9 on threes. But like, as a team, you mentioned the missed free throws, 20 of 28 for the Thunder compared to 27 of 33 for the Nuggets. And then Isaiah Joe was the one where you feel like you probably get something a little bit different next time. He was only 0 of 4 from 3. That's just not who he's a 41% three-point shooter on the year. But then Alex Caruso, who of course we have to shout out, was sensational, 20 points, 7 of 12, made 5 of 9 threes, 6 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks. Like, just an absolutely absurd human being. Plus 13 in a 2-point loss and had some commentary after the game.
Yeah.
He was like, really wanted to win that game tonight, but man, it's fun playing out there in May.
Yeah.
Second round.
Yeah.
We got game 2 around the corner. I'm happy I'm still playing and not being sent home in Miami every year.
Yes. Ooh, the stank.
By the way, the question was from Darnell, so.
Was it?
Yeah, a little
extra yum yum.
Shout out to our guy Darnell Mayberry. All right, we got to take our first break there. NBA action playoff version continues tonight. Cavs Pacers game 2, Pacers taking game 1, and Warriors Wolves game 1. Can't wait. When we come back, we'll start breaking down our grades, starting with Mr. Comeback, Lonzo Ball. Hit that like button while we share some ads. Today's show brought to you by Bet365. You can be making bets and making money and having fun watching these NBA playoff games tonight and every night, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. And there was nothing ordinary about the way that those games finished last night.
Not a darn thing.
New customers can now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on any and all kinds of this NBA playoff action we got going right now. Win or lose that $5 bet, don't matter. You will see that $150 in bonus bets hit your account either way when that bet is settled. And for all of you hoops junkies watching these playoff games, with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 20 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. If you had been feeling the Celtics last night, yeah, they coughed up that 20-point lead they had, but you still could have gotten paid for them getting that 20-point lead. Download the app, use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Again, that promo code CHGO365. When you make your first $5 bet, you will get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And those bonus bets could be used on just about everything. Spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only.
It's hot. Hot. That's what happens when you get near something. It gets a little hot. You want to be around cool things.
Oh, my stars.
But Clem, I do declare. But then you also can have my air conditioner sitting right there, you know what I'm saying, doing its thing. But what you truly need is what's going on up in the office, man. And the only way to get that right is Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. All 4 of them things. They do it all, baby. They got you covered. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. When is the time to do it? Right now is the time to get your air conditioning checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. Now, 2024 was officially Chicago's hottest year on record. Was it because we were doing shows? Part of the reason why. But 114 was the heat index, ladies and gentlemen. Dang, that is hot. Oh, I do declare. When it's hot and it's humid, you want to know your home will be cool and comfortable, just like Will the Goat Gottlieb. The Four Seasons expert technicians ensure you'll always have and receive reliable service. And Four Seasons doesn't charge more for service during nights, weekends, or holidays, y'all. It's a beautiful thing. Schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's Four Seasons Heating, Cooling.com. Because for all the right reasons, Peck!
Call 866 Four Seasons.
Oh, the love.
Colin, I do declare. Funniest thing I've heard all day. It's such an underrated phrase.
It is.
I do declare. Sounds even funnier coming out of Dave's voice for some reason.
Yeah. I'm silly.
Hit that like button, just like that awesome picture your goat is telling you to do on your screen. What up, Katie?
Hit the like button.
Katie would like
I went
likes.
to my personal YouTube account and hit the like button on the stream. If I can do that while producing this show, you can do it.
Oh, she just flexed on all
And
y'all.
if you can vote in the poll, then that also means obviously and easily you can hit the like button.
Yes.
In addition to that.
Katie's taking the bad cop approach. I'm going more with the good cop and just saying, let's get a tank spin in here, guys. You want to do it?
I tell you what.
Do it for the tank spin.
We all want to
hit the like.
I'd like to see you as the bad cop one day, though.
I don't play the bad cop.
I'm about to say, I don't.
Can I get you a root beer from the vending machine down there? Can I get you a tank spin?
Get an egg salad sandwich?
I'm just looking for a little information.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, man, Hey, lighter, cigarette. There you go. Got you covered.
Don't smoke, kids.
Lucy.
But do hit the like button. All right, let's dive into some more grades. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty here. And the first couple that we're talking about, part of that Bulls backcourt rotation, heavy as it is, bountiful as it is, these two guys saw some solid play this season, also saw their seasons cut short and or interrupted for large portions because of injuries. But the first one we're going to talk about also made history recovering from previous injuries and playing in 35 games this season. Let's talk about Lonzo, gentlemen.
Please.
35 games played, including 14 starts. He averaged 22.2 minutes per game, topping out on February 28th against the Toronto Raptors, a game in which he played 34 and a half minutes. We were all like, man, remember we were talking about Lonzo? Like, yeah, hopefully he can get 10 minutes, maybe 15.
Right.
And I was like, oh, Lonzo's good. Lonzo's helping us win.
Yeah.
Billy's like, you good? Lonzo's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You can get back out there.
Don't look at me.
However,
Go sell
despite all of the wonderful vibes of him coming back from not one, not two, but 3 knee surgeries, it's a wrist that really messes up Lonzo's comeback season. Really, unfortunately, he had the original wrist sprain on a bad fall, of course, diving out of bounds, trying to make some hustle Lonzo play, lands on it awkwardly, out for a while, comes back, plays some more, re-aggravates the wrist, and then that's the end of his season. Was theoretically maybe trying to get back and healthy and available should the Bulls have gone to the playoffs. That doesn't happen. So it is just that 35-game sample size that we have to work from. But before we dive into our grades and what we saw from Lonzo on both sides of the floor, gentlemen, just a word or two, if you want, about what it meant to just see Lonzo out there at all this season.
It meant everything for me to see him out there performing, because I remember those conversations we were having in the offseason, Matt, just having serious talks about his health, about him going forward just as a man. Will he be able to even walk? What will he be able to do? Like, I remember the reports that were found to be not true, but that were out there that he was having problems even sitting and standing and walking and doing those kind of things. And then we saw video of him running on the treadmill. And I remember you specifically, Matt, were like, this doesn't look right. Absolutely not.
I've run on a treadmill more convincingly than that.
So it was, and so, yeah, there was definitely a concern just about him and his well-being as a person. And that's what we cared about first. We wanted him to have that quality of life and be able to do, the things that he normally wants to do. So once we established he could walk and do that, we were like, okay, great. Well, the next step is running. Let's see if he can do that. Okay, bet. No issue doing that. Okay, well, let's try running on a treadmill and doing things like that. Okay, let's try jumping. Okay, let's put a basketball in your hand now and do it that way. Okay, let's 1-on-1s. Okay, 3-on-3s. Okay, 5-on-5s. Okay, full practices. Like, he had to go through so much just to get back to the floor and contribute to this team. And then he was a straight-up contributor to this team after going all through all those things. Again, nobody had ever had this surgery. This is the first ever as far as a basketball player is concerned. This is the first time ever of having this surgery. And it was a really cool moment of him meeting the family of the person who donated that cartilage to his knee.
Cool.
That was really, really cool. But it was just really good to see him dive on the floor, Matt. That's when I knew he was okay. When he would take bumps and dive on the floor and go for the loose balls. And guys weren't trying to low cut him, but, somebody's falling down and he's tripping over them, but he's still getting up. I was very excited, and it was just, for me, great to see him out there on the floor in any capacity, but even greater to see him be a true contributor to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always thought super unlikely that he would ever be back at all, let alone playing at like a decently remotely close to what level he was before. I don't think that he was back by any means in terms of like really playing at his peak, but like he looked really good. I mean, he was making the right reads. The game, like, it didn't seem like he really missed that much. It seemed like he wasn't moving quite as well as he used to, but and obviously his shot did not fall at the same rate or anything close to what it was in 2021. But just for him to be back out there was really incredible and like a miracle in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Like that was the first time anybody's ever really come back from that kind of procedure before. So I think that like in the future, guys will get that surgery and it will be like called the Lonzo Ball because he paved the way and maybe makes that a possibility for other people whose careers might be over if not for this procedure. So really cool to have him come back. Cool for the Bulls to get him back and playing. Like, I mean, he just represented, like, the last time he was out there, this team that was playing at such a high level. And it all kind of came crumbling down. And a lot of the, like, reasoning that we heard was, like, doesn't work without Lonzo. So just really cool to see him back out there, even if it wasn't, like, absolute peak Lonzo form.
Yeah. All right, so let's dive into our grades for Mr. Lonzo Ball, starting with the offensive end. A modest 7.5 points per game this season. Obviously, you know, first things first, can he be healthy? And then what can he contribute to leading that Bulls, defensive side of the ball? But I think the reason primarily that his, scoring was down from where we had seen it in his first half of one season way back when with the Bulls is that his 3-point percentage fell off.
Right.
I mean, part of the reason the Bulls were that tie for the best record in the East at the All-Star break that 21-22 season was that one of their offensive weaknesses was 3-point shooting. Lonzo helped carry them a lot himself because he shot 42% on 7.5 threes per game that year.
Yeah.
This year, Lonzo's 3-point percentage fell to just 34.5%. So not terrible, but a big fall off from his previous high efficiency. It was his lowest 3-point percentage since the 2018-19 season. As far as being a playmaker, 3.3 assists per game. Nothing super impressive there. 18.9 assist percentage. That was on the lower end of his career numbers. He did have a career best as far as protecting the ball. A career low 3.9 turnover percentage, so you like to see that. But it was just sort of like this was like Lonzo easing himself back in. The other thing that I noticed, he took half as many shots at the rim in his 35 games this season than he did that first healthy part of the 21-22 season. And I'm thinking back to all of the fast breaks that Lonzo finished above the rim being the reason for that drop, because it's not like we saw Lonzo attacking the rim a lot this year.
That's true. For me, it was more on a curve. And the curve was him being out there.
Yeah.
And so that's why he got a B for me. Also, I remember him affecting the Bulls as far as winning games. I remember him hitting that three and then getting that dance in. You know what I mean? Like, he helped affect winning for the Bulls on the offensive and defensive. We'll get into defense in a second. But just watching him to be able to be out there and contribute offensively and still be a factor. Like, I know the percentage went down, but it went down to, like, normal. It didn't go down to, like, trash.
Yeah.
So, and that's, for me, is not a huge downgrade from somebody you weren't expecting to shoot that high of a percentage anyway. That was just like, oh, my God, he went crazy right there, shooting 42% from three. And even in his shots that he took, they were mostly threes.
Over 80% of his total shots were threes this year.
Right there. So it's what he did. So for me, he understood his role and kind of what he wanted it to be. And he said, I'm just going to be that 3-point shooter. I don't really trust it yet to be that guy who's driving and kicking and doing all those things. So for him to just find his niche, and that, again, plays to his IQ and just how brilliant he is. But he found his niche about what he should do to contribute to this Bull squad.
Absolutely. I mean, everything that we got from him was like excess. It was like the cherry on top to just see him back. So it is kind of weird to be grading him as though he's been like out there the last couple of years. But for me, it was just like he had to kind of change his game to cater to the knee injury. He was not driving as much. He was not, and he's never really been like a mid-range shooter or driver. He's like really get off the ball quickly or shoot it. But you just saw like the decision-making became shoot or pass really quickly.
Yeah.
And I thought he just needed to like get a lot of shots up to get back into a rhythm. Didn't make him at a high level. I'm okay with that. Like he's a smart enough player to like know what's a good shot and what's not. But it just didn't feel like he was quite as like dynamic with the ball in his hands in terms of creating plays. I think he was a very good extra pass maker. But I just don't know that we'll see him at that same level in terms of setting up offense. So again, it feels kind of silly to be like nitpicking here because everything that we got from him was just so far and away like extra.
Right.
But I think the other thing is just missing a lot of time. The wrist hurt his shooting when he was out there because he got hurt at the beginning of the year and then again at the end. That whole middle portion, he was dealing with that pain and discomfort there. So it's hard to really like evaluate him other than just being back. And now got him re-signed. You'll see him again next year.
Let's knock out a couple more as we come back on the other side. A quick thought on Lonzo's defense and his meathead grades. And then we got Ayo up next. Hit the like button if you want a tank spin. For crying out loud.
We'll sit Katie on you. Empire today.
Floors.
Oh, just like your favorite team. What'd you say?
Floors.
Floors.
Floors?
No matter what.
No matter what.
Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home team needs a home floor advantage. See how I get higher? And Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals whose focus is on flooring every single day. Now, we all been to those big box stores, walked inside. Will the goat lead looked around and said, you know what? In addition to having a new nickname, I'm going to need some new floors. So let me go look around. And as soon as he stepped in there, like Jurassic Park, do. How you doing, Mr. Will Goat Lead? How are you, sir? My name is Gottlieb, kid. Don't you talk to me that way. Tell me about these floors. I don't know much about these floors. No. He got biffed. That's the bottom line of it. He got biffed. Ladies and gentlemen, shop at home convenience where you don't get biffed. Empire Today, that's who does it. They live and breathe flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ball game. You can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Oh, thank you very much. Schedule a free in-home estimate when? Today. Because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, that's your beautiful selves. You can receive a $350 discount when you use the promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard it right. A $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for details. 588-2300. Katie!
Dave.
Pass the Peck to you.
Caught. Matt.
Empire.
Goat.
Today. That's like when you're doing like a warm up in basketball practice and you do a 3-man weave.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep passing around.
Just got to keep going.
No dribbles. Just
Hot
passes.
potato.
See, the problem is she was wide open. That's why
She was under the basket.
Wide open.
She said, no.
She's wide open because she was on the bench.
There's a reason I'm wide open.
When Tabby Doug's like, she was wide open. You passing it to Granny on the bench. Today's show is brought to you by Lucy. Are you thinking about leveling up your nicotine routine? If so, you got to give the fine variety of products at Lucy a try. What kind of products? Bam! My Lucy Breakers right here. Apple Ice, my favorite flavor. They have nicotine gum for those of you who like the traditional gum. They have pouches. And they have breakers, which are pouches with a little extra bubble burst inside that you can bite down on to release extra hydration and flavor. They also have a range of strength of nicotine in each piece of gum, in each pouch. So whatever your nicotine habit, they've got exactly the right amount for you. And they've got tons of different flavors. The minty varieties, they got fruits, they got espresso flavored. Whatever you're looking for, try a bunch, pick your favorite, and then have that favorite delivered straight to your door with their monthly subscription service. Lucy also has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. You won't. I am a bona fide user. Haven't gone back. I love it. It is wonderfully convenient to just have it show up after they send me an email. Hey, reminder, you got your next your next order about to process. And I'm like, great, thank you. You can also adjust that order in between if you need more, you need less, you want to change up your flavor. Whatever you are looking for, Lucy has it for you, y'all. So let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Just head to lucy.co and use promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your first order. Again, that's lucy.co, promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age. Every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Bam.
Dave, I really like the thought of nerdy, awkward, not belonging here Biff having the thunderous steps of a Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic Park.
Absolutely, man, because you're dreading it.
Yes.
You're worried. You're scared. But he's coming, and you can't stop him.
You can only hope to contain him.
The sound of Biff's voice, I think, more closely resembles like the screeching sound like a Velociraptor claw on like a metal door would make. You know,
I like that. So remember when they learn how to open doors?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Equally as terrifying as a Tyrannosaurus stomp.
Yes, equally as terrifying as Biff trying to ask him a question.
I gotta rewatch that movie. You guys are making me want to rewatch it.
Jurassic
Park
Park.
was phenomenal.
Such a good movie.
Phenomenal.
Are you going to rewatch that before or
Yep.
after you rewatch Without
Before.
a Paddle for the 100th time?
Oh, maybe we'll do a double showing. You
Oh,
know,
double feature.
double feature. Thank you.
Double
That's what I was
feature.
looking for.
Got you.
All right, so getting back on track, we're talking Lonzo. Jebediah in the comments saying Lonzo was one of the Bulls' best defenders, and his steals were huge for the Bulls this season. To that end, Lonzo had a career best 2.8 steal percentage this season. Obviously, the steals per game numbers and the totals were lower because of the number of games played and his minutes, but as far as frequency of Lonzo picking people's pockets, he had a career best year in that regard this season. His block rate of 1.9%, right around his career average. But it is the multiple effort plays. It is the defending multiple ball handlers in one possession kind of plays that just really stand out. And even more pronounced when you're talking about a team who collectively looks like the Bulls on the defensive end this year.
Man, they needed every bit of Lonzo Ball when they had him out there on the floor. Whatever he could provide, they needed. One-on-one, he was solid. Help defense, he was definitely solid. Telling the young guys where to be on the floor and getting them in the right position, definitely solid on that. Talking to those guys and just being the communicator that they needed out there on the defensive end. Lonzo Ball really took charge of that. He kind of slid more into a kind of Caruso kind of role in that way. Not to say he wasn't already, just a vocal guy like that, but I felt like he took more of an onus on himself because he knew somebody had to do it out there for this team, man, and they needed every single thing he was able to provide for them. But yeah, man, you mentioned the steals. He was great. He was always, for me, a really solid shot blocker or shot deterrer, however you want to say it. But his help blocks were always good. And yeah, like just watching him on the defensive end, helping the Bulls, be better, like him off the floor. And I'm sure the numbers will clearly reflect just how bad they were without him. But man, dude, like Lonzo Ball is an important piece of this team. And as Will mentioned, it's one of the reasons they're bringing him back again next year. They know how vital he is to that team, not just offensively, but especially defensively.
Yeah, I also thought like his kind of signature play was when the ball would get entered to a big at the elbow or at like the wing, and he would kind of like pounce up from the corner and steal it from behind, and they'd be on the break.
Cheetah.
Jordan never cleared.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see. I feel like that was where he looked most like himself, just making plays, being a free safety out there. And like, he and I talked about it for a story that I did earlier this year of just like the freedom and the trust that he has from the coaching staff to be able to go out and do that stuff. And yeah, I mean, it bears out in the numbers, as you mentioned. He was, the Bulls were 6.7 possessions, points per 100 possessions better with him on the court this year. Didn't get to see enough of him, but you could feel his impact for every second that he was out there. So I don't think he was the same defender getting over screens and like staying attached and lock and trail and chasing defenders, but like his awareness, his IQ, his ability to quarterback a defense, make plays as a free safety. I don't know if there's any other football positions I can throw in there, but he was just a ball hawk.
All right, with that, let's see what our meathead grades are for Lonzo. It's pretty similar across the board for our overall grades. Wow, BBB. I like that.
Big baller brand, never lost.
Never lost.
Big Dave has a slash in his meathead grade. INC/AFE. All right, I'm guessing the INC at the front is incomplete.
Correct.
/ all for everyone.
It means A for effort.
A for effort. Okay. Incomplete A for effort.
Like if I could
like
give him just an A, there had to be an A given to him in this for me at some point in time.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was grading this whole thing on a curve. And I said it during the season, just him actually being out there on the floor was a plus. Like the fact that he walked out there, the fact that he's jumping, the fact he fell down and he got up, and then just adding the fact he actually can still contribute in the NBA. That's all a plus, for Lonzo Ball, man. So I was just really proud of him. I was really happy for him. Like he's just and it shows a lot about who he is mentally to be able to deal with that for 2 years and to come back from that and then have another wrist injury bothering you and you playing through it and then you have to sit out and deal with another season-ending injury again and you still have that same mentality, you know, of positivity and, you know, hopefulness, like, and it just doesn't change for him, man. Like, it just says a lot about him as a person, just mentally where he is, the fact that he was able to get out there and give his all. I never felt like he was cheating the team when he was out there on the floor. I always felt like he was giving it his absolute best every time he sat out there and tried to play. So he gets an A for effort for me because you know I love some effort, man.
I dig it.
Love that.
Go. Your Lonzo Beathead grade was FG.
Forget about it.
FG.
Fly God.
Save our souls. Is that SOS at the
Fly
end?
God save our souls.
Fly God, save our souls.
Shout out Westside Gun.
It's just feel good story
Feel
of the
good?
season.
Yeah. Okay.
There
Feel
you
good
go.
story.
Feel good
There
story
you
of the
go.
season. His comeback was remarkable. And like Dave, it's hard to really nitpick on anything because it was just like you didn't think he was going to be back.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it was like irresponsible for the Bulls to act like he would be able to come back, but also from Lonzo's perspective, for him to be able to use that as motivation and say like nobody thought I'd be able to make it back. Like I heard him say that several times.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He proved everybody wrong.
Yeah.
He beat the odds, and to look anything like what he used to look like was really, truly special.
Truly special, man.
Yeah. My Meathead grade was along those similar lines of what you were just talking about, Goat, of like people doubting that he would come back.
I don't yell.
Well, that's not true.
Oh,
I do yell.
I do yell.
I doubted you, and I apologize.
Oh, what? A Peck apology?
Yeah.
Hold on,
Look,
soak this in.
Look,
This don't happen
we've
often.
talked over the years of Lonzo's absence about like what are the likelihood that this dude ever plays an NBA game again? And I was one of the loudest among Bulls Nation and people who talk Bulls all the time saying like close to zero.
I remember.
Close to zero. And it was not an admonishment of Lonzo in any way.
Yeah.
It was an admonishment of the Bulls front office and their poor planning of not having a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
This do it all, glue guy, Swiss Army knife of a guard goes down, and everything else that you built around it is like crumbling.
Yeah.
Like just castle made of sand style.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't change the fact that I sat here many times and said, look, we all have to face the reality that it is very likely, if not as close to certainty as possible, Lonzo ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Lonzo's not playing again.
Yeah.
And for the sake of his mental health, emotional health, and future, just like overall life health, that's okay for him.
Mm-hmm.
For Bulls fans, it's a bummer. We got to figure out what happens now that Lonzo ain't coming back. I said it countless times. He proved me wrong. Proved a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
I doubted Lonzo. And Lonzo, I apologize, man. Good for freaking you.
That is awesome.
I was just a Bulls fan concerned about what the heck the plan was.
That is a Peck apology.
That's right.
It's like a shooting star.
They're so rare.
So rare.
Because I am so rarely wrong,
It's
Dave.
so beautiful.
We all know that to be the case.
You know what I mean? We don't. But
It's true.
you are right a lot, though, sir. I'm not going to take that from you.
Yeah.
But you don't offer apologies even in your wrongness is what I'm saying.
What are you talking about?
That was really good.
They're
though.
all on record.
They're-
All two of them.
all two of them. That's right. What was the other one? I
I don't know.
don't know. No, it just
Something so inconsequential, obviously.
has to be two. Probably something about go.
All right, with that, let's move on to Ayo Dosunmu, another in this Bulls backcourt carousel. We did do some prove-its for Ayo at the beginning of this season, gentlemen, and I went back and revisited those.
Okay.
It was a blend of accomplishments and falling a bit short. Mine real quick. I wanted him to continue being the iron horse he was through his first 3 seasons with the Bulls in the NBA. 76, 80, 76 were his games played through his first 3 years. And I said, let's do that again, 75 or more. Obviously, with the shoulder injury and the season-ending surgery, he fell short of that, playing just whatever it was, 40-some games. He also did not achieve what I asked him to as far as getting to the free throw line more. I asked him to have a free throw rate of at least 0.2. He did, however, increase his free throw rate to a career high 0.176.
Nice.
So he did manage that, but fell short of my goal for him. Dave, you asked for defensive boards and more assists.
I did.
He did both.
Yes, he did.
Good
Career
for him.
high in assists for him this year, 4.5.
That's right. Career high 4.5 dimes per game for Ayo this year. well done there.
And
You wanted
high 3.5 rebounds.
him to build on the career year he had behind the arc last season, saying increase that 3-point attempt rate, get up at least 6 threes per game, and continue hitting them at above 40%, which, he was a 40% shooter behind the arc last year. Big dip for Ayo behind the arc this season. He shot just 32.8%, and attempts wise 4.9. So fell a little short there. So starting with our offensive grades for Ayo, talking about his shooting numbers, where did we come out on our report cards? A couple of B minuses and a C. I think when you look at the total body of work, his shooting took a dip. He did more and did the most of his career from a playmaking standpoint.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did give him credit for and tick that C or C plus up to a B minus is that he increased his field goal percentage or his field goal attempts at the rim. 33.4% of his total shots at the rim last year, 37.2 this year. And his efficiency at the rim went up 65.5% last year, 70.7 this year. Went to the rim more, converted at the rim more. That's what gave me that B plus for Ayo.
Yeah.
Or a B minus rather.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the B minus. Was when I thought of him, that's immediately what I thought of was him attacking the rim.
Transition Ayo, baby.
And the fact that the league still has not caught up to him at all. So, it was many a times Ayo has carved out, what he's going to do offensively. If that team goes on a run and that ball goes in that basket, he's taking that ball and he's running down and he's scoring like immediately. Like it's happening that fast. The layup, they just aren't able to get to him. He's using his speed and his length, and he's being able to score. He's catching them off guard every time. And it's coming. And that's the sign of a really good player, is when it's happening and you still cannot stop it. So the fact that the league hasn't caught up to it, and even if they know and they understand it's coming and they still can't stop it, that keeps you getting a B for me. I understand his 3-point shooting, wasn't at its best, and the free throw percentage also like that. But it's just the fact that when you have something that the league cannot stop, and you're still going to get 27 points, and you still can get 20 points, and you're going to get double-digit scoring. You don't know whether he's starting. You don't know whether he's coming off the bench, but he's going to give you double digits in that aspect. That's impressive to me. So he gets that B minus.
Yeah, I was a little bit harsher.
Hater.
And maybe looking at, in contrast to you guys, maybe a little too harsh. But the 3-point percentage was a bummer for me.
Yeah.
He's been so inconsistent throughout his career. Started out 37%, I want to say, on threes. 37.5, then 31, then 40, then 32.8.
Yeah.
You want to see more consistency there. He was obviously really good in transition. He was good facilitating. I've said a couple times this year that I think the assist numbers on this Bulls team as a group and for the individuals is a little bit overblown, because the fact of the matter is none of these guys are creating their own shots. It's just like drive and kick. And so most of their shots are going to be assisted. But down year for him in terms of field goal percentage, down from 50 to 49.2. He really struggled to start the year and got a little bit hotter. And then, whereas with Lonzo, I'm not going to discredit him for missing time with injuries, because it was just such a incredible thing that he was able to come back. With Ayo, I do discredit him a little bit, and you want to give him credit for fighting through it, and he played through pain, he played through the fracture in the back of his shoulder, but just missing some time, I thought I couldn't give him a high grade. So to me, this was he was a little bit below what I would have expected. Not bad by any means, but just didn't quite hit my expectations for him. Right. And so yeah,
I think that's fair.
You're a mean one.
Defensively, I think if I was disappointed somewhere with Ayo this year, other than obviously, falling from being a 40% 3-point shooter to sub 33, is that I've really wanted to believe in Ayo being a quality two-way player in this league, a guy who can check anybody, especially as a perimeter defender. I didn't see him take a step defensively that I wanted him to this year.
I agree with that.
And I think maybe some of that is more so on teammates' system. The Bulls were just a mess defensively this year. Yeah. I think Ayo is not at a point where maybe Lonzo Ball is, as just a defensive stalwart and high IQ defensive player. Correct. Who can disrupt things and make things happen, even if collectively as a team your defense ain't great.
Correct.
I think Ayo just sort of I think he stayed where he was as a defensive player this year. he did, do some more work on the defensive glass, which is what you asked of him, Dave. He had a career-high defensive rebounding percentage, so credit to him there. But I think Katie, if you want to put the report card back up, I think I gave him just like maybe a C+. Yeah, C+ on defense. Dave, you were a bit kinder on your defensive grade for Ayo.
Yeah, because of what you just said. Like, I didn't really see a huge change, and I always thought like he was kind of a B+, B- kind of defender. But obviously, I don't think it was his best year of it. But I didn't see it bad enough to where I would remove that B from him. Like you said, like getting the rebounds and getting out in transition was great for him. I still felt like he was a necessity on the floor. If you're running a defensive lineup, you've got to have him out there on the floor. And he still was putting guys like Trae Young in jail. So he still was affecting, gameplay on the defensive end, especially one-on-one and using that length that he has. So for me, it wasn't like you said, it wasn't just a huge enough change for me to take him down like a whole letter grade.
Yeah, I was a little bit lower on him defensively this year. I think even then the offense, like I was supposed to be a good defender, and statistically it was a really bad year for him. He had the same defensive EPM as Kobe, which was minus 1.3, and that was in the bottom 10% in the entire league. He had the Bulls were 7.4 points per 100 possessions better with him off the court defensively, and he's supposed to be like, even Lonzo like didn't play a lot, played fewer minutes than him, but was, the Bulls were 6.7 points per 100 better with him on the court. So I do think that typically bears out in your favor, even if it's not quite to the extreme of what you might expect. To me, that was pretty disappointing. I do think part of it was the fact that he was asked to do a little bit more offensively, and that just like carrying that burden can leave you a little bit drained on defense. Like you guys said, not having the infrastructure around him. But for me, it's like Ayo's path to being a core piece of the Bulls' future is being a really elite defensive player that can be a complement offensively. And I don't think he was quite up to snuff in either category.
Colin saying Ayo's Trey's dad. Hope that never changes.
That's true.
Well, we all hope that never changes. All right. So with that, gentlemen, our Meathead Award or Meathead grades for Ayo Dosunmu, rather. Dave, another INC incomplete slash. Does that stand for too many shoulder separations?
Close. Stands for the medical staff sucks.
Yeah, there you go.
5 shoulder separations. 5. And nobody did nothing. Hey, your shoulder separated right here, man. You got a problem back there? Oh, something you could have told me and brought to my attention yesterday. Oh, my God. That's the other reason I didn't give him the grades I gave him. That's all I was thinking about. Like, this dude separated his shoulder 5 times and it had nothing happen and nobody did anything about it until they were like, oh, something's really wrong here. You're out for the year. That's why it was an incomplete for me. And that's why I didn't grade him so harshly on certain things, because I don't know what he was playing through on a lot of those nights, man. Separating your shoulder like that and then getting back out there and playing tough defense, maybe you're a little bit more protective. You know what I'm saying, of what you're doing out there on the floor. Maybe you're not getting through those picks a little bit harder because of what you've dealt with before you got out there on the floor. So I'm thinking of all that stuff, man. But, yeah, horrible job by the staff out there, like just not recognizing the problem that he had, and he went through it 5 times. And then they finally found out it was an issue. Yeah, it sucks. Too many shoulder separations, and the medical staff sucks.
That 5 times is a pretty dead giveaway clue for my Meathead grade for Ayo.
5, dog.
Dislocated 5 times?
Yep.
Dude, I knew math immediately this time.
5 times?
5, dog.
How do you dislocate 5 times? And the medical staff's like, yeah, get back out there. Oh, hey, we're going to need you to play these 5 minutes of overtime in this game after the game where you knew that your season was cooked.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Bulls.
What are we doing?
Medical staff.
What are we doing?
Can we ever be competent?
Oh, my God.
Please.
Man. Oh,
poor Ayo.
That hurt my soul so much.
The final chapter of that was kind of nice and heartwarming and funny, though, because Ayo put out one of his vlogs that he started doing the back half of the season on YouTube. And there was a shot of him coming out of surgery all drugged up and dopey and slurring his words. It was really amusing.
Could have did that months ago.
Come on. Was DYNW.
Do you not want it?
Mine was just down year, not worried. Like, I think this was not the best from Ayo that we've seen, but I still am a believer in what he does and what he brings to the table. And I think over a course of a season, that 3-point number starts to normalize a little bit. The defense I thought was better as a group the second half of the year. If he's out there for that, then his numbers start to look a lot better. I think he's still like a very good player on this team, and I think he'll continue to get better. So definitely a down year for me in terms of the grade, but definitely not worried about him long term.
Right. I'm with that.
Yeah, hopefully we see Ayo bounce back and have, this full offseason to recover from that shoulder surgery. But then you also wonder with the shoulder specifically and talking about his shooting efficiency, how that may impact the form.
Yeah. I'm concerned about all of this now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all of this is a huge concern.
It's a long recovery for him. He shouldn't be, he won't be ready to do 5-5 until later on in the summer. So,
all right. With our remaining time, we can quickly touch on Jalen Smith and a few thoughts on his season and how it graded out. For me, obviously, I just looked at a down year for him offensively based on the free agent signing expectations. Wow, look at our report cards are nearly identical.
Pretty identical.
3 straight C's for his overall grade, 2 C's for y'all offensively. I gave him a C minus, 1 B minus defensively, a C minus, and a C. It was his lowest overall field goal percentage since his rookie season, 46.6. Obviously, the 10-point drop in his three-point percentage, the most glaring. He was a 42.4% three-point shooter his last season in Indy. That fell all the way to 32.4 this season. He also was less efficient finishing at the rim. His efficiency from 0 to 3 feet fell from 76.5 to 67.5. It was just not a great year for Jalen Smith across the board. Even his offensive rebounding numbers went down from his last year in Indiana. And perhaps why we saw a freshly arrived via trade Zach Collins kind of overtake him in Billy's rotation.
Yeah, he definitely swooped in, and took his stuff.
Swoop.
But Jalen Smith is a normal NBA bench player to me. Like, I'm not so high or so low just on his season that he had. I thought he started off strong. I thought he started off very strong this season. His three-point shot was definitely on point. And then I thought it kind of, tailed off a little bit. I really still have questions about his knee because I saw it wrap constantly. And I haven't heard anything about it. But again, with this medical staff, I'm just a little concerned. And I want to know what was up with that. But I tell you why he got the C from me. Like, he played 64 games. He only played 4 games where he had 20-plus minutes. But in those 64 games, he had 26 games where he scored in double digits. And I found that really impressive, for a guy. Because in contrary, like Patrick Williams playing like 25-plus minutes. All right, and wasn't doing that.
Doing a lot with a little.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and he's playing less minutes than what he did in Indiana. I think he was down 2 minutes, 15 in Indiana, 13 here. I could be wrong about that. But I do know he was playing less here in Chicago. But he still was contributing when he was out there on the floor. And for me, I found that impressive and something, that you can kind of hang your hat on.
Number or minutes per game dipped 17.2 his last year with the Pacers.
That's what it was.
15 even with the Bulls.
I was thinking 13 because I was looking up Dalen's numbers too. Dalen was averaging 13.5. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like he was supposed to come in and be a pick and pop threat, and he shot 32%. Like, he, AK butt high on a guy.
Vooch 2.0.
That shot a career best 42%, and then he comes in and it drops 10%.
He's got a system, y'all.
I mean, he's at 32% from 3 career three-point shooter. This was not like out of line with what he typically is. It was a little bit lower. 33%. But last year was just the outlier, and they kind of bought in on that. And look, he was a young player. This was his age 24 season. So age 23, he shoots 43% as a big. Like, I get it. But yeah, I feel like he was kind of a 3-point specialist. He didn't really provide too much of like a lob threat. That was something I was looking forward to, especially playing off of Giddey, being a guy that could catch lobs and pick and roll. Did some of that. I thought he was a good offensive rebounder. But yeah, I feel like he didn't really wow me at all. Yeah. And then he lost his job.
Yeah.
As a backup. So to me, like, it was hard to really, I mean, he was fine. He was just like, it was a C for me. It was fine.
Yeah.
And probably that was a little generous.
That's a job on his day off.
Quick note, defensively, those grades, I think I was a bit kinder than y'all. I may have given him a B minus for his defense. And that was solely because he did have career high marks in both block percentage and defensive rebounding percentage. 28.7 defensive rebounding percentage. Solid work on the glass. And
solid work on the glass, yeah.
For a Bulls team that was not exactly swatting away a lot of stuff at the rim from their opponents.
Yeah,
I'll take a 4 block percentage from our backup center.
Yeah,
any day.
Yeah, it was cool. I think that was also part of the reason though why he lost his job too. because I thought Zach Collins, I'm not going to say he's a better defender, but the effort was different.
Yeah.
On the defensive end.
I thought he was a better defender. Yeah.
Okay.
He was like more in the right spot at the right time. I think Collins isn't going to collect as many blocks. And I think a lot of times that can get confused with being a good defender. But I felt like Jalen was not as good as a scheme positional defender as Collins was.
With that, some meathead grades for Jalen.
6 more likes.
We got to get them likes up. We're close.
6.
Big Dave, Golden State. He's going to Golden State. GS.
No. No, Will wouldn't allow that. Good soldier.
Good soldier.
Good soldier.
Like, just a good soldier. Like, he's a good, solid backup center in the NBA. Like, there was nothing else, like, there was no thrills, no bells, no whistles or anything like that. He's coming in. He's picking and popping. He's picking and rolling. He's getting to the free throw line. And he's going to be okay defensively. And it was consistent every single time. You can hang your hat on it. Now, some of the shots, some of the three-point shots might not hit. And he might have a tough time. And Billy says, well, you have to come sit down next to me. But I knew what I was getting as soon as he would walk into the basketball game. And for me, that's just a good soldier. Like, he was up and he was ready. He was available. Even when he had that time off where they weren't playing him, when they put him back in, he still was that same guy trying to produce for this team. So he's a good soldier.
Good soldier. That's going to do it for those of you watching our streaming services. If you want that bonus coverage, that overtime CHGO Bulls, just head to allchgo.com.
3 more likes.
Fish, our guy, saying in the comments, Jalen Smith, another random Bulls generator of the future. I don't know. He might not, really fall into that category if he sticks around for the 2 additional years he has on his contract that he signed last summer.
He's going to be a long-term, but what was yours, Matt? At CYN?
CYN.
See you
this
next
is
year?
in no way related to how well I thought Jalen Smith did or did not play on the court.
Can you not?
I mean, in a way, you could also say that can you not is what I am saying.
Center something? No?
No,
Okay.
but another center of Bulls is involved.
Okay. Collins?
No.
Okay. Well, now I'm lost.
Perhaps an epically wonderful /BFF Bulls center.
Oh, I know that's Noah.
Change your nickname.
Oh
okay.
my God.
I'm sorry, Jalen Smith. Nothing against you this season. Good luck to you moving forward as a Bull or whatever. As long as you're wearing Bulls jersey, I'm sorry, your nickname cannot be Sticks. It's too close to Stickity. Stickity. No, can't do it. Won't allow it. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
That's what he
Change
gets
your
for being
nickname.
a skinny kid and having his AAU.
I call him Specs.
Coach.
That's what I call him.
That's fine.
That better.
Can't be Sticks though. Can't be Sticks.
Okay. All right.
How dare you?
2 more likes, y'all. 2.
Go. Your
2 more likes.
meathead for Jalen. What do we got?
more likes. Read why.
Nas Reed. Wow. Wow.
Man.
Really?
You guys are not going to get this one.
No, I'm not. Like, yeah.
I'll just tell you.
Hit it.
Represents everything I disagree with AK about.
Wow. That's a mouthful.
Oh, Will to go godly.
The Jalen Smith signing
the snake.
represents everything I disagree with AK about.
Explain.
He signed him with 2/3 of the mid-level exception,
Bam.
which basically prevented the Bulls from being able to take on any salary in the
Bam.
DeMar DeRozan trade, which prevented them from getting the good draft pick in the
Bam.
DeMar DeRozan trade. They could have just gotten Harrison Barnes, who would have been probably more effective for them this year if they were trying to be good,
Need a win.
and gotten a real draft pick out of it. So that was frustrating. And then also it's just like this idea of we got to collect these young players with experience so that we prevent ourselves from bottoming out.
Yeah.
And like spending big in the mid-level exception market on a backup center, it's like you really just can't be bad one year. I don't know. It's just like that to me, like Jalen Smith, he's a fine player. It was like, I get why AK wanted to do it. I don't have anything against him. I don't think he had a great year by any means, but like it's not about Jalen at all to me. It's about the approach that the front office has used and him being the representative of this like disgust with trying to intentionally lose.
It's what all of
set yourself up for the future by collecting draft picks. So I just felt like even if they were going to do that, then like go out and get Goga Bitadze, who's like a legitimate great rim protector. Even though he's not as much of a shooter, I just felt like that was not the way that I would have used that asset last summer because it was so damaging when it came to building your long term. And he's a 3-year contract. He's not even going to be here long term.
Right.
Yeah. And again, that is not something that speaks to Jalen Smith. That much like me saying Lonzo's probably never going to play again doesn't speak to Lonzo. It's just like this is a Bulls front office problem, a roster construction problem, a long-term vision problem.
I absolutely agree with what Dave said. He was a great soldier. Like he was in and out of the rotation. He always had a great attitude. He was always willing to talk with media. Like he's a good kid. Like I enjoyed him as a person. It's more just like the approach. And then like you go out and you get Zach Collins in the Zach LaVine trade. And like that could have been the contract that you took back in the trade that would have gotten you a first-round pick from the Kings when you gave up the best player and you didn't get the best asset. That's insane. A year later, that is still insane.
Excellent.
Yes, but they got Josh Giddey.
Yeah. One like, y'all.
In the trade that mattered.
Give me one like.
Josh Giddey.
One like.
One more like for Tank Spin, y'all. Who among us has not hit the like button yet? Katie's about to freak out.
Just one.
I am about to freak out, but I was going to say I'm going to allow it because Goat has warmed to my cold, dead heart with how badly he wants this. So I will allow it.
He really wants it. Maybe.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Tell you, Katie. Hold out, Katie. Don't do that. Hold out. All right.
50 likes. You love to see it.
You got it.
Come on now.
I'll go can live.
6 days away, y'all. The NBA draft lottery.
And an extra one.
Hey,
and
Katie.
an extra two.
Yeah.
Just
Don't forget to reset before you spin.
Always the
I could
reset.
take this away so easily, Will.
Look at those
All right,
Hornets and
I'm gonna
Pelicans with 7 straight
reset.
losses to end their seasons. How nice for them.
There we go.
nice.
And then
Here
we're
we go.
going to
And we
Number
stayed at 12
12.
again. Hooray!
Oh, darn.
Stayed at 12.
Get ready for that, y'all. But the real thing.
Who will look at San Antonio, though? Moved up. That would be crazy.
I swear.
Can you
Washington,
imagine
shout out.
Cooper and Wemby together?
Shout out to them.
Man, Dallas up there.
Honestly, Spurs,
Dallas does
this is
not
an
deserve
organization that cares about winning. They deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That as every time we do one of these tank spins, do I want the Bulls to get crazy lucky with their slim odds and jump into the top 4? Ideally land the number 1 pick with less than 2% chance? Obviously.
Yeah.
But they don't deserve it. They don't. I'll be happy for us. Happy for our fellow Bulls fans if it happens, but like they should not be rewarded for their incompetence. They really shouldn't. And they probably won't be. We'll see.
Thank you, Jose. Come back tomorrow.
Colin saying, come on down, Modest 2.0. Hey, yeah, maybe they'll find a great player at 12. Let's hope.
It's possible.
Shout out to you, Jose. We are out of time for today. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Central, with another live pod for y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hitting the like. Follow Will the Goat, Will_Gottlieb. Read his stuff, allchgo.com. Go read that mailbag from the Die Hard questions. If you haven't done it yet, become a Die Hard so you can read it. Big Dave, bow. WL Sports. Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Shout out to the queen of controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. Enjoy that NBA playoff action tonight, y'all. Get some bets in on Bet365. Why not? See you, Red. Be good.
Shirtless Wonder. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.